Back in front of the TV in my room, sounds of Kelsey's snores drifting through the wall as background noise. I held the idol I'd snagged in my real-life hand and watched as on screen, Larry looked over that same insignia in his polygonal hand. At this point, I had too much on my mind to sweat the supernatural stuff. Said Larry. I'm struggling with this one. So's Google, man, I said back. All my attempts to describe or deduce what this was unsuccessful. He lingered on it. Disquieting. He pocketed it. I will ruminate. Nonetheless, given our lack of progress, I can, if you'd like, try another vision. Yes, please, I said to the TV. Do note that I grow weak and will need further sustenance once this is complete. I nodded. He returned to his back room, again doing his visualization ritual, conjuring up 2 new images, this time on the bulletin board. A picture of a poorly drawn stick family, and beside it, the picture of a key. Family key? I asked. Family is the key, Larry said, lowering to the floor, presumably low on energy. Is there something going on with your family? I swallowed. Maybe? He leaned against the wall, lowering even more. Sustenance. I need peanut butter. Console off. I pulled up my phone. Begrudgingly, I texted my mom back. We'll come for dinner tomorrow night. And then, before I knew it, my head hit the pillow and I was lights out from a long day. I dreamt about flames. That wasn't new. About a day and a half remained before my doom, and an hour now before my mini family reunion. I was home alone, no Kelsey. The day up to this point brought nothing in the form of new leads or interesting revelations. I booted up the console and was greeted with Larry's usual kitchen spot, but no Larry. Instead, just a note that read, "Out searching for answers." God damn it. Remembering his note about sustenance, I grabbed a plate from the kitchen, toasted bread, and spread peanut butter onto it. Clocked unrelatedly that our usual full knife block had a knife missing, and brought the plate in front of the N64. And then I left. I sat at the dinner table and watched my mother across from me lift a forkful of salad into her mouth. Adjacent were my dad, business casual, disheveled as always, and my youngest brother, complete degenerate, glued to his phone. In the silence, I glanced past them into the expansive living room of my parents' mansion. God, they were always renovating, always updating something. From my perusal, I could tell the chandelier was new. New shelves, new grand piano. Great stuff, guys. You know, it's been 4 months since you last visited, Mom. Yeah, sorry, I said, been keeping busy. How's college, Dad? You should visit more, at least once a month. Once a month would be normal. Nah, I like this, said my brother mid-text. Way better when she's not here. Piercing glares from Mom and Dad, the little shit named Kyle. I took a bite. I thought about my response. School's fine, and sorry, Mom, I'll visit more. Just kidding, I won't, because Kyle's a dickbag. Sadie. Kyle laughed. Mom casually placed her fork down. Cordial, please. Eyes on me. Don't call your brother a dickbag. And to Kyle, stop being a dickbag. Claire. Dad again. I just thought normalcy, Mom continued. What we need to strive for after grief is normalcy. Oh, God. There's that spiel. Kyle. No, you're right. Sorry, Mom. Please continue. If I suddenly drop dead after this dinner, I'd hate for your last memory of me to be the one where I was being a prick. I'd really, sour the life insurance payment. Life insurance? I asked, almost choking my food. Oh, God. Mom, with her head in her hands. That again. Always with that again. Look, I'm just saying, it's fucked up. It's fucking capitalistic. What? How many times do you need to redecorate the guest room? I grieve by decorating. It's the one thing that can make me happy now. I used to be you three, but... Dad cleared his throat loudly. To be clear, as SVP, the company set me up with an extensive benefits package, insurance, trust funds, everyone in the family listed somewhere. When it happened, the payout was automatic. I would have declined it otherwise. The snips and self-absorbed interruptions only grew after that clarification. As it reached a boiling point, I finally chimed in again. Guys, temperature's down. I took a big breath. It's all fine. I'm sorry, Kyle. And Mom, I agree. Let's have a meal, okay? Let's focus on normalcy. At the next available reprieve, I went to the bathroom. And that's where I scribbled as many notes as I could. Mom, sus with salad. Dad, sus with life insurance. Kyle, just fucking Kyle. Anything and everything that came to mind, I heard my phone ring. Unknown caller. I answered it. Hello? A familiar voice. LeBron, thank you for leaving me that toast. What? He could call me now? I've been out searching for... Never mind. Point is, I had a strong feeling come over me just now. A vision. Surely the red thread of fate connecting us is flaring up. Dude, please talk normal. The house you are in. Explore the office. What would that... Disconnected. Dial tone. I felt like a ping pong ball, just being batted back and forth constantly. Nevertheless, I turned my brain and feelings off and I followed his direction. I eased the bathroom door open, tried my best not to make noise, and creaked up the steps to the second floor, down the hallway, to the room at the end. The only thing remotely close to an office was Dad's study. I entered the master bedroom. Despite the constant renovations, the fireplace always stayed real. White stone, pile of logs, the grate blackened with old ash. I moved through the too large room into the connected study. Immediately I went to work, flinging open drawers and cabinets, rifling through letters and documents. The sound of steps already coming up the stairs, more pulls at random drawers. One of them revealed a replica of the totem I found at the bar. Resting on top of a stack of papers, it looked charred. A real mental lag as I grappled with the image. What? I scoured the documents beneath it, printouts of various articles. Inferno at downtown charity gala claims 50 lives, cause under investigation. 50 dead as fire engulfs city fundraiser. Officials probe faulty wiring. I didn't need reminders of her death right now. I looked further, reports from private investigators. Survivor testimony? Photographs of the scene and the aftermath, strange scrawlings embedded into the walls, CCTV camera footage of distant blurry figures sneaking into the event, and then a single sticky note lodged onto a random piece of paper reading, "Was it a ritual?" Steps getting closer. I dropped the material back into the drawer, slammed it shut, shifted out of the study to see my dad already halfway into the big bedroom. Sadie? I blinked. Yeah, sorry, just... what did I even say? I haven't been home in forever. I decided to give myself a tour. See what maybe changed upstairs. Right. We have dessert downstairs if you... Sounds great. I awkwardly walked back down the hall with him. My eyes shot past my old bedroom. Vintage CRT TV there too, because god damn it, I'm consistent with my bedroom flourishes. And then my sister's room. Left untouched since the last time she was in there. And pushed down every feeling I had about that matter, all except one thought. If her death wasn't an accident, I was going to find out what happened to her. I just needed to make sure I didn't die first. 9 a.m. Dawn of the final day. I walked to the 7-Eleven near my apartment, snagged 2 Mars bars, 2 cans of Celsius, and an Italian sub. Back at home, Kelsey had holed up in her room. Sick day from work. Good for her. She'd been working hard. I grabbed my own knife of choice from the kitchen. Self-defense for my oblivion. That was 2 missing from the block now. Then, taking a page from my forefathers, I returned to my room and engaged in peak millennial degeneracy. Snacks, video games, lighter bowl. Only thing left on the bingo card was a Pickle Rick reference. In my lane, but bothered, and very much unmoisturized. Let's do this. I booted up the game. Covington's Redemption title screen. Press start yet again. Rather than the usual fare, the screen stayed black. A white text box appeared. This place has had many visitors. Most eventually move on, but some linger. You'll be joining them all soon. The screen transitioned to a new location, a dark part of the city streets that I hadn't seen before. For the first time since I'd booted up the game, the sun was gone. There was no sound, not even the sound of my character's footsteps, as I guided them forward. In the far distance, I spotted Larry, in his coat, moving further and further down the road to darkness. I trailed. I could only move so fast. "Larry!" I called, but he couldn't seem to hear me. "Larry!" I shouted even louder, unconcerned with how crazy I must have seemed to Kelsey through the wall. But that didn't register either. So I just followed him. Those precious minutes, then precious hours ticked away, like it was all some fucked up cosmic joke. Still shrouded in 64-bit darkness, the slow pursuit finally ended. We stood at the large steps of a colossal building. That unnerving choral swelling I heard when I first entered the alley in the game stirred in the background again. "Where are we?" I asked. "Where the answers are," he said. "And you would know that how?" I whispered, coughing up some smoke IRL and momentarily forgetting that he'd literally introduced himself as the psychic lawyer. He stepped forward and eyed, now convinced my final moments were going to be in some fucking stupid side quest. Followed. Shortly after, we were in the interior of the dark building, equipped with flashlights, endless hallways with rare torches illuminating where our beams didn't. And as I thought about ways to pull the ripcord, turning the game off, rushing out of my apartment, firing a gun, running into the forest, aiming at any man, woman, or bear that came within 20 feet of me, he spoke up again. "Tell me what happened with your family." There wasn't much point in running now, was there? There was a... Damn it, why did I still feel things? There was this big charity gala event. Happens every year in my city. I got 2 tickets by being part of some mailing list, I guess. They were worth a lot. Wanted to sell them. My sister, she really wanted to go. She cared about this stuff. Said we should go together. Then I ghosted her the night of. Went to some dumb party, got wasted. It was hard to talk. She still went. Alone. The venue caught fire, and then she and a bunch of people died. "I'm sorry," said Larry. Then echoing, almost confused. "A fire." The corridor that we were following ended at a large closed door. Beside it was a small pedestal with a prompt flickering above it. "Place book here." Larry immediately pulled various small notepads and pocketbooks from his coat. None of them registered. I thought for a second, looked over in my real life at the booklet I'd been collecting my useless anecdotes in, and grabbed it with my free hand. I turned to the TV again. My character had it in hand now, and I placed it on the pedestal. The door reacted and opened, revealing even more hallways, but littered with what looked like statues along the way. Mannequins. We kept going together. Reaching the first mannequin, I clocked that it almost looked like Bryson. Big dumb X. Eyes full white, no pupils. Frozen. A lanyard hung from his neck. The badge inside marked with a red X. "Do you know who this is?" Larry asked. I forged ahead towards another mannequin. Slender, dressed smartly. Professor Ward. Eyes clouded white, lanyard with badge indicating the same red X again. Was the game translating the names I'd put into my book and giving answers? I maneuvered further down to a gathering of 3 more lifeless statues, all standing in front of a door. Silhouettes that I was able to immediately recognize. My dickbag brother, mother beside him, father beside her. As the background choir's off-key hum reached a fevered pitch, and Larry came up behind me. "LeBron?" Everything started glitching, skipping, cutting to black, cutting to nothing. In the moments of stabilization, I caught the badges on my family, my brother, X, my father, X. And as it all felt like it was going to collapse, my mother's, X. Like the rest of them. I walked past the nuclear family, and through the door ahead, a sense of finality and dread filled me. Larry followed as we emerged into a grand ballroom. At the front, a podium on a stage before a heavy curtain. Around the room, chandeliers, gold chiavari chairs, and linen-draped tables. Larry beside me suddenly grabbed his head. He fell to the floor. "Larry?" The walls in the room caught fire, wallpaper burning to reveal bizarre inscriptions. Was this the room where it happened? If so, what the fuck did this have to do with anything? The environment around us started shifting. The room stage was now adorned with that winged, crown-bearing statue with a serpent and the staff. A textbook flickered on screen as a cutscene began. "To fulfill the ritual and call forth Astaroth's earthly favor, power, wealth, and devotion." Larry writhed on the floor, while the inferno licked the walls and grew closer to the stage. 8 devotees were chosen to offer up what they loved most. The blaze closed in on the curtains. 7 were successful, but 1 failed. My attempt to piece together the madness was interrupted by my bedroom door in real life opening. I looked back to see Kelsey enter. With her, Connor. "Yo," she said, not looking too hot. "Homeboy's been worried about you." "What the fuck? Why would you?" I realized how stupid I was sounding. I'm playing my game right now." Connor sat beside me, annoyingly close. Kelsey flanked me on the other end. Connor went into his new monologue immediately. "Look, you've been skipping class, Sadie. I feel like, you're falling into like a dark pattern or something. I'm just doing my own shit. I'm not..." I stopped speaking when I turned back to the CRT to see Larry, an absolute mess of himself, still grabbing his head, starting to speak. "LeBron," he said, "I can feel that the killer, your killer, is painfully close by." The lights went out in my room. TV flickered off, game no longer running, and immediately, with my high out of my mind sense of self-preservation, I threw myself away from my 2 friends, grabbed the knife I had stashed, held it in front of me, and glared at their shadowed outlines. "Stay the fuck away from me or I'll stab you." "What are you doing?" Kelsey almost laughing. "Sadie, what the fuck is going on with you?" "Stay the fuck back! No steps forward, not even one, or I promise you, I'll fucking do it." They remained stalled in their respective spots, as I held ground for 1 second. 2 seconds. I rushed to the TV, blade still held out carelessly in one hand, snagged the power cord from the socket, ripped the yellow, red, and white cords from the back of the CRT, and hugged the wall as I tossed them, along with the console, the cartridge, and then finally my knife into a nearby backpack. Zip! I looked behind me. Window already cracked open to the early evening winter sky. 3rd floor height, bushes outside below. Fuck it. Sadie? Kelsey said again. I pushed the window open and in one motion tore through the window screen, hurling myself out. Sadie, what the fuck? You'll kill yourself. What are you? Crash. Landing in a heap, I could feel the damage, but couldn't place it. Knees, shins, shoulders, ankles. I wasn't sure. The bushes at least swallowed most of the impact. I looked down to see... The knife had stabbed through the bottom of the bag. It missed me, but Jesus, that could have been bad. I rushed forward, reslinging the backpack, limping, bleeding, almost having to fling myself forward through the pain. I had a destination in mind, but in terms of getting there, was it best to Uber or... A cab turned into the road right in front of me, like a bolt out of the blue. I shouted for its attention, waving my hands. Looking crazy, no doubt. The driver slowed at first, got a good look at me, and then sped away. As all hope drained, I spotted another cab, static, parked further down the street. I waved at the man inside. He didn't seem thrilled, but he stayed where he was. I left that cab with a giant tip. No use for money when I'm dead. Punched in the gate code, ran to the door of my parents' mansion, fumbled for the keys, and rushed inside. Guys? Mom? More steps. Dad? No one seemed to be home. I rushed upstairs to my old room, pulled the console out of my backpack, and got things set up while holding my phone between my ear and shoulder to call my mom. Dial tone. Answer. Mom? I said. Sweetie, what is it? She said in a hushed tone. Where are you guys? Hun? It's your sister's 1 year. We're doing a vigil at the cemetery. You told us you didn't want to come. Did you change your mind or... Fucking hell, it's the anniversary. No, it's never mind. I hung up the call. Game set up. Shh. Title screen on CRT while I peeked outside IRL in paranoid fashion. I tried 911 on my phone. 911, what is your emergency? 1427 Crestview Drive. Someone's trying to kill me. Please send help. Hung up again. Shifted my focus to the game. The curtain had been burned away, revealing a panel with 8 faces on the wall. Faces my psychic lawyer friend was staring at. I used the controller to close the distance between him and the game. Larry. All the faces looked grayed out and lifeless except for one. One that looked like me. I caught his gaze fixed on a different one, however, a pale face that looked identical to his. This is how I died, he said. He looked around. Which means all of this is a mirage. Some strange dream. Hey, I said out loud, I know this is crazy, but I need you right now. Larry, I think whoever killed my sister and killed you, they wanted me there that night. They're trying to get me now. Larry! And as on-screen characters in dark clothing started entering the blazing gala room, I peeked out the real-life mansion window to see, shifting in the yard, figures in black moving through the darkness, past the front door. Shit. Dude, I screamed, come the fuck on! He finally slowly turned to me. Use the light. What? The lighter. Steps already barreling inside, a moving earthquake, an incoming train of death. I left the room, panicked, breathing, repeating his words, lighter, lighter, lighter. I pulled my lighter out of my pocket, thinking, rushing, looking, trying to spot anything else that'd make more sense. Lighter, 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 I repeated, peeking past room after room from the hallway, eventually reaching the master bedroom again. Fireplace. Besides the logs, lighter fluid. I grabbed it. Lighter, lighter, fucking cryptic motherfucker. I rushed back, opened the bottle, the barrage coming in. I poured the lighter fluid down the top steps of the staircase, reckless and shaking, figures in dark clothing and ski masks dashing up the steps. I brought my shivering hand with spark lighter in tow down to the closest flicker of fuel nearest to me, and I brought it to life. The expensive staircase fell ablaze right in front of my eyes. I felt the warmth from my distance while the intruders felt annihilation. Pain screams, low groans of death, bodies engulfed in a sort of unreality I never imagined I'd see up front. All except for the one who'd gotten farthest up before the flames caught. Mask and sleeve burning, I backed away into my room from the one remaining attacker who had escaped the staircase of death set piece in the B-horror movie that was my life. I tried to slam the door shut, but he kicked it back open, tossing off his burning black sweater and ski mask. And then Connor, looking less 13 Reasons Why and more Two-Face, tackled me to the floor, his hands around my throat, squeezing. He spoke. I made sure you got those tickets, but you didn't fucking go that night. You're so fucking unpredictable. Connor, he squeezed harder. I'm sorry, he continued, but the ritual needed me to give up who I love, and I love you. And I loved you for so long, and you just never saw me. You killed my sister. It was supposed to be over, and then I'd have a good life. Astaroth was going to give me everything I ever wanted, but still, there was a whole year after that fire. I reached for my nearby open backpack for the knife still inside. A whole year. We had to wait to finish it. And during that time, I wanted to see you change. I wanted to see you become a healthier, more lucid person so you could see that the right guy for you was right there. My fingers barely reached the knife. I started fading. I squeezed the handle hard as I could. If you would have just fallen for me, I would have left all of this behind. I would have ditched all of this. I tried to swing, but the energy was gone. The breath was gone. I was falling under. Just the glare of the CRT behind me. Darkness, otherwise. I let the knife slip from my hands, and then... suddenly, Connor's grip loosened from me. My eyes opened to see the knife sticking out of Connor's chest as if it had been driven through from behind. The knife, gripped by something invisible, slid back out of his chest before vanishing outright. Connor fell back as I coughed up a storm while reorienting my body to the flood of oxygen it needed. I turned to the glowing TV to see Larry standing on the wreckage of the flames and the fallen assailant in the gala room, knife glimmering in his hand. The inferno all but poised to swallow him. Run, he said. I lifted myself up while the fire in my real surroundings continued to spread. I took a brief look at Connor, who looked like he was fading. I had to ask. You eat salad? Is that like some sort of key trait about you? He coughed up blood. Every day for lunch. You never paid attention. And then he was gone. And then the flames covered his body, and milliseconds after, they had the walls. I looked desperately for the best way out, catching the N64 and TV falling to sparks and embers as well. No, I screamed, grabbing the burning cartridge and feeling the sting in my hand. I stared down the only painful way out. My second required jump out of a window from elevated height today. I readied myself and then crashed through one more time with Covington's Burning Redemption in my hand, landing with a thud in the front yard, shards of glass traveling with me, and as I landed on the frigid winter ground, I was absolutely sure this time that I had broken something. Still, now outside I desperately blew on the cartridge, hot potatoing it between my hands to try and preserve it, pressing it against the cold winter grass to see if that would help, until eventually the flickers of fire faded. And that's when I looked up and spotted Kelsey. knife in her hand, running up the driveway right towards me with the intensity of a bride with cold feet. "Oh God," I said, "just fucking kill me then." She stopped right in front of me. "The fuck is wrong with you? Are you, like, into arson now or something?" "Why do you have that?" I pointed at the knife. "This?" She looked incredulous. "I grabbed the weapon because all fucking week I've been seeing people in dark get-ups and ski masks follow me fucking everywhere." I pointed to myself. They were for me, actually." "What kind of nonsense have you been getting yourself into?" "It's done now," I said. I turned to look back at the mansion, which was now nearly consumed by fire. Something about the sight seemed to drain all detachment from me. As the sounds of sirens grew closer and the blue light of the police cars bounced off the mansion's walls. "That's how my sister died," I said, finally crying after a year of no tears. Kelsey ruffled my hair. The fire grew and grew. "Hey, your parents' mansion really got fucked up." "It's fine. I'm sure they have insurance for it." Feeling an inkling, I pulled something out of my pocket. That totem, with a strange winged crowned figure. Astaroth. I tossed it into the fire of the mansion. I was in my room, my left foot in a cast. I rolled a joint, my own little sanctuary. It's been a few weeks since that night, since the insane fallout of discovering what the crazy Astaroth worshipping cult was up to. Cops, insurance, and all sorts of small reconciliations. Kelsey was out on a date night. To her credit, she'd helped me make today's toast. I was sitting on a plate next to the console. Not expecting much, I blew into the cartridge, stuck it into the new, rather expensive N64 I purchased off Facebook Marketplace, and I turned it on. Nothing at first. I let out a disappointed sigh until I saw a faint signal. Static lines flickering across the TV screen, meaning that it was registering something. And then the title screen. Covington's Redemption. I pumped my fist. I did, of course, find in my research into the Gala fire post-Connor's heel turn that among the victims was a gentleman named Michael Covington, public defender. Where his ghost got the name Larry from, I wasn't exactly sure. I pressed start and was immediately greeted with the shot of his small kitchen table. He wasn't sitting there, though. My heart sank. Until I heard footsteps. And turned to see him coming up his stairs looking like he'd been through the ringer. Clothes all ruined, jagged hair all messy as shit, and finally taking a spot in his chair. We looked at each other through our shared medium. "My life is a lie, LeBron." I shook my head. "You saved my life. And solved the case of your murder, and my sister's murder, and the murders of so many other people. That says more than anything. That's not a lie." He shrugged. Looked at the blocky, low-poly version of the peanut butter toast on the table. Didn't go for it. "Sure," he said. "Hey," I said, full of life now from weeks of processing. "I know it's probably, like, depressing to realize that you're, like, kind of dead and kind of sort of decoupled from whatever your real life was." A grimace from his side. I struck a pose, fist in front of my face. "But I'm gonna need you to be cunning." I looked off to the side. "And brave." And then a deep breath. "And I'm going to need you to deal with that existential misery because..." He didn't look thrilled. "I think we should solve crimes together." We stared at each other for way too long. Until finally, I saw the subtlest smile come across his face. He took a bite of the toast. And I think I got through to him. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and we're currently entering fall, which means Halloween is right around the corner. I just want to say thank you guys for watching tonight's video, listening to tonight's episode of the podcast, and to start expecting more audios as we go closer and closer to the spookiest day of the year. Once October starts, you know what that means. I'll be having out a video every single day until Halloween itself, and I expect to see you there. I mean it. I expect to see you there for every video, for every podcast episode, and I expect to see you like, comment, and subscribe, and all that jazz bell, what do you do on podcasts? Follow on Spotify? Yeah, that, for the month of October, and especially so you don't miss the 13-day countdown. Also, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody on this list of Patreons. Some of these amazing folks are Diana Kraus, AcidSystem, Blake Rattler, Brandon Mendoza, Brenna Caltuna, ChicagoHitman, CoryxKenshin, CrusaderChocobo, Dakota Best, Daniel Poulsen, Dante Kinkade, Enchanted Buns, Estebean, Hades' Nephew, himbojerry, Our Minute Seconds Time, Ingegerd Solstrom, Jay Kearns, Jadis Pet, McMog, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Psychomel, Plant Piz, Red Shadow Cat, Remember the Sun, Salty Surprise, Samara Lynn, Seclude, Simba's Bloody Mojo, Sky Harbor, Smiley the Psychotic, Sully Man, Tully Sue, Team Leo 76, The Demented Voice in Your Head, The Chavez Brothers, The Ginger Bros, Tommy Walters, Viceroy Scorn, William Wellington, Your Bro Keegan, Zabub, and Shadow Gardens. A huge thank you to you guys, everybody who shows up in the description down below, and as always folks, sweet dreams.